Week 3, NFL Power Rankings coming at you like a ball being punted into your ass. Let's go. Number 32, Washington Commandeers. Washington. What's going on? Carson Wentz is terrible. I think everyone in the league knows this. And they knew it before you signed him. I actually heard recently that Washington had a trade in place around the time of the Combine with San Francisco to bring Jimmy G to Washington. But Jimmy G opted to have shoulder surgery, and Washington said, and they went and got Carson Wentz instead. I don't know, man. I think I'd rather have Jimmy G minus one arm than Carson Wentz. Listen, at the end of this game, if you saw highlights of it or actually watched it, you saw the Washington receivers dragging their feet. They were so pissed. They were like, I got to play with this fool for how many more games? The Washington defense actually played pretty okay against a high-powered Eagles offense. I mean, they shut them out 3 out of 4 quarters, but they still lost by 16 points. Do you know why? My final answer is Carson Wentz. Number 31, Seattle Seahawks. Geno Smith, he's a decent QB as a backup. As a starter, Seahawks, man, you ain't doing nothing with this dude. This is the reason why you're always going to be in the bottom of my rankings. I mean, Geno Smith, he played all right throughout the majority of the game. However, when it mattered most in the fourth quarter against the Falcons, he done fucked up. He was sacked twice and threw an absolutely disgusting interception. Seahawks moved to 1-2, allow the Falcons to get their first win of the year. The craziest thing about the Seahawks is the fact that their defense is so terrible. And this is very difficult to register with me because you think Seahawks, you think defense, you think Legion of Boom. Now, I understand all teams, they change, right? You know, things happen. But the Seahawks have always just been defense. Similar to the Steelers. The Steelers aren't always great, but their defense is always, you know what I mean? It's very bizarre to me. Number 30. New Jersey Jets. Did you see that video of Quinnen Williams on the sideline in a screaming match with his D-line coach? I could see the coach being like, yo, Joe Burrow has been sacked 17 times in 2 games this year. You guys can't even get any pressure on this motherfucker. And Williams is yelling back at him, Coach, I'm sorry. My vagina's bleeding tonight. So the Jets looked absolutely terrible. 1 week removed from having an amazing comeback against the Browns and kind of getting a little bit of respect. This team as a whole is a hot mess. The only bright spot that I see with the Jets is rookie cornerback Sauce Gardner. He bottled up Jamar Chase for most of this game. The Jets. End zone? What's an end zone? We kick field goals around these parts of New Jersey, sir. Number 29, Carolina Panthers. So the Panthers, they went ahead, got themselves their first win of the season. But I gotta say, Baker Mayfield, he's still really bad at football. My dude had 1 touchdown pass to Laviska Shenault for 67 yards, most of which was done by Shenault. And that was it for Baker. That was it. If you remove that 1 play from his game, my dude barely cracked 100 yards passing. Thankfully for Panthers fans, CMC showed up. He decided to play. And for the first time all season, the Panthers defense decided to play. Panthers are far from a playoff team, but this was a nice win for them. They are inching ever so much closer to my most irrelevant team in the NFL. Number 28, Las Vegas Raiders. Womp womp. 3 weeks into the season, a season in which expectations were really fucking high, the Las Vegas Raiders are the proud owners of the worst record in the league. Not the Jaguars, not the Texans, not the Jets, but the fucking Raiders. Now, credit is due to them for coming back in the second half on Sunday, but a failed 2-point conversion didn't allow them to tie the game, and the Titans escaped with a win. And for the 3rd straight game, Devontae Adams has double-digit targets. This guy has 37 targets on the year. This past Sunday, he had 10, but only had 5 catches for 36 yards. Cool, 1 was a touchdown. Hooray! I wonder if that dude is still happy with his decision. Number 27, Tennessee Titans. After the first 3 possessions against the Raiders on Sunday, the Titans had themselves 3 fucking touchdowns. They look like a whole different team. They didn't look anything like the team that got their dicks rubbed in the dirt on Monday night against the Bills. But then halftime rolled around. And in the second half, the Titans went hiding like a fucking turtle in its shell. Sucking nuts, sucking nuts. The Titans failed to score a single point in the second half and almost let a terrible Raiders team come all the way back to tie the game. Ryan Tannehill, still the answer, still the truth in Tennessee, had an interception and a lost fumble in the second half. That offense just looked awful. It's all sorts of out of sorts. Now, Derrick Henry had his first decent game of the young season for 85 yards. Doesn't sound very King Henry-like. But he also disappeared in the second half. The Titans really need to be thankful that the Raiders did convert that 2-point conversion, because the way things were going, they probably would have lost in overtime. I think the Titans might be done. Number 26, New England Patriots. Man, the Patriots had some opportunities to complete a comeback against the Ravens on Sunday, but they failed. First, there was an interception in the back of the end zone. Then Nelson Aguilar was like, yeah, I don't want this ball. Here you go. You take it. You take it. Shut that comeback the fuck down. Then with the Patriots down by 4, they allowed Lamar Jackson to just walk down the field like, here you go. Take it. We don't want this fucking game. They gave up the touchdown. Ravens went up by 11. Mac Jones suffered a high ankle sprain. Patriots could have won this game, but mistakes. And that's very atypical for a Bill Belichick team. Now the question turns to, can Brian Hoyer be a serviceable backup QB? I mean, in my opinion, it can't get much worse than Mac Jones because I don't think he's good. Number 25, Houston Texans. Bro, the Texans, how do you not win this game? Come on, it's the Bears. Rookie running back, Dameon Pierce. Hold on to the ball, dude. Come on, man. Davis Mills. This dude, I've been backing him for over a year now, and he's making me eat my words. He had a decent game against the Bears, but then he threw like a back-breaking interception to Roquan Smith, and that set up the Bears for the game-winning field goal, and oh, come on. This was your chance, because looking at your schedule, you ain't winning a lot of games coming up, man. Still looking for their first win of the season. This should have been it. Number 24, Pittsburgh Steelers. I gotta show you something. Stay with me. Check this thing out here. It's this little gadget that you put on your sink that extends the water out, which is perfect for my 2-year-old. And if you notice the little picture on the bottom, if you squeeze the bottom, it now shoots water out like a water fountain. And when you buy this, you get 3 of them for $5.35. Now, why am I bringing this up? For 2 reasons. 1, I paid $5.35 for these fucking things. Do you know what it cost to ship to me? It was free. Do you want to know why? No, it's not because I have Amazon Prime. It's because I chose the free shipping option that got it to me about 5 days instead of the next day. Do you know why? Because I don't need these items in my life. I just wanted them. Such is my justification of not having Amazon Prime. And judging by this last Thursday night game between the Steelers and Browns, I don't care that I don't have Amazon Prime. Oh, well, John, you missed an amazing catch by the rookie receiver on the Steelers. Didn't you? You didn't see the Kenny Pickett catch? It's 2022, bruh. I got like 17 notifications about that catch. I saw the catch 19 times before halftime. So no, I don't need Amazon Prime. Oh, and since 2017, the Steelers are now 0-6 without TJ Watt. Number 23, New Orleans Saints. 2 more interceptions from my boy Jameis Winston. He's really good at those. So far this season, in passes that have traveled 10 yards or more in the air, Winston has 5 interceptions and 0 touchdowns. He's just not good. The Saints have played 20 games since Drew Brees has retired. 20. And in those games, they have been shut out 4 times in the first half. That's literally 1 out of every 5 games. Slow starts are absolutely killing this team. But more importantly, what people don't want to talk about, what that's doing is, it's allowing the second half, when the game is pretty much over and they're being blown out, for Jameis Winston to go out there and just continuously pass and pad his stats in garbage time. And what that does is it makes him look like a serviceable quarterback, or even a good quarterback, because he's got these high numbers, which real NFL fans realize that he's not. But on paper, he looks like he's good. Yeah, keep going with that, Saints. Let's see how far that gets you. Number 22, Arizona Cardinals. 4 field goals and 0 touchdowns does not sound like an equation that equals to wins in the NFL. Dude, the Cardinals don't look good. They don't. Truth be told, I'm not surprised. I never liked this team. I hated on them all year last year to the point where I had Cardinal fans coming at me. I feel like for some reason people give the Cardinals like such credit. And for what? Is it Kyler Murray? I don't know. Maybe. He's good. Kind of. I realize DeAndre Hopkins has not suited up yet this year. His best receiver has not played yet. I get that. I do. But it's not like they don't have other weapons. Do better, Cardinals. Number 21, Chicago Bears. QB1 Beyond the Lights is a show on Netflix. I love it. Each season, they follow 3 high school quarterbacks through the trials and tribulations of life as a quarterback. A few years back, Justin Fields was on this show, and he was one of my favorites. I want to root for this guy so bad. But then he went to the Bears, and, fuck the Bears. So I guess fuck Justin Fields, right? But this dude isn't even doing himself any favors. Bro, you played the Texans. The Houston Texans. And you went 8 for 17 for 106 yards against the Texans. The Houston Texans. Look, the Bears were able to pull off their second win of the year because of their defense and because of Khalil Herbert, who ran wild. Despite being 2-1, this is one of the worst teams in football. But you know what got me? Son of a bitch. I have a friend named Jason who lives up in Illinois. He's a Bears fan. And he texted me after the game to let me know that the Bears have the same record as the Buffalo Bills currently. Fuck off. Number 20, Atlanta Falcons. During the pre-games on Sunday morning, I saw a power ranking list that had the Atlanta Falcons ranked number 32, the worst in the league. Yet another reason why I am so clueless onto how these experts have jobs. How could you possibly think that the Falcons are the worst team in football? They outplayed the Saints most of the game week 1, and then almost beat the Super Bowl champs Rams week 2. That game included an impressive comeback on the Falcons' behalf. Now week 3 rolls around and they're in Seattle. Now I understand Seattle is not what it used to be, but it is still a tough place to play. Ask the Broncos and Russell Wilson. And all the Falcons did were go in there and win the fucking game. The Falcons deserve more fucking credit. Drake London, Cordero Patterson, Kyle Pitts, they've got that offense humming despite all the mistakes that Marcus Mariota makes. Now their defense, now that's another fucking story. Number 19, Indianapolis Colts. Add 2 more fumbles to Matt Ryan's total, giving him 7 on the year. Now this could be an issue. That Colts offensive line that used to be such a force a couple years ago is all but gone. They're going to get that old man killed. Now the Colts went in and got themselves a win at home against the Chiefs. A very, very impressive win. But I got to be honest, I think that was more of a result of the Chiefs' mistakes more than the Colts playing good. That's not me saying the Colts played bad. I'm just saying, if the Chiefs didn't make the mistakes, this game wouldn't have been close. Matt Ryan did march the team down for a game-winning touchdown late in the game. But there were some serious concerns out there in Indianapolis. Phillip Rivers, Carson Wentz, Matt Ryan. Instead of Frank Reich getting fired as the head coach, maybe they should throw him under center and see what he can do. Number 18, Cincinnati Bengals. Bengals travel New Jersey to take on the Jets. Bengals get their first win of the year. Joe Burrow must have been on social media all week listening to them critics, because that dude came out with 163 yards and 2 tutties in the first quarter. And after leading the league in sacks with 17 after 2 weeks, he was only sacked once against the Jets. That's a hell of an improvement. I guess you have to give the Bengals defense some credit too. I mean, they did keep the Jets out of the red zone. But if you really think of, is that really impressive? Number 17, New Jersey Giants. Bro, Daniel Jones was everywhere on the field. And I'm not saying that's a good thing. He was being chased around like he stole something. The Giants need some serious help on that offensive line. It's downright scary. But hey, Saquon Barkley played really well. I don't think anyone really considered the Giants an elite team just because they were 2-0. Shit like that happens all the time. But wins are wins. Number 16, Detroit Lions. Damn, this game pissed me off. The Lions outplayed the Vikings on Sunday. They should have won this game. 1 minute and 14 seconds left to go in this game. The Lions are up by 3 points. Dan Campbell chooses to go for a 54-yard field goal. He had gone for it on 4th down 6 times in this game. And the one time when you should do it the most, you opt to kick a field goal. A long field goal. Very bizarre. After the kick was missed horribly, the Vikings then marched down the field and ultimately scored the game-winning touchdown, giving the Lions yet another game that they should have won. This was an opportunity for the Lions to share the lead with the Packers and Bears at 2-1 in the NFC North, and they failed. Number 15, Cleveland Browns. Blah, 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 Nick Chubb. Blah, 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 Amari Cooper. I am so thankful that this game was on Thursday night on Amazon Prime and I couldn't watch it. Because if it was accessible to me, I would have watched it, because ultimately it's football. How could you not watch football? So in preparation for this video, I watched a condensed game, which was 5 minutes and 33 seconds long. It took me over 18 minutes to watch this video because I kept nodding off. Browns beat the Steelers. They're now 2-1. Cool. Number 14, the Jacksonville fucking Jaguars. What the? Yo, this game was insane. It gave the impression of like a big-ass rock rolling down a hill, right? the faster it's going, the harder it is to stop. The Jaguars jumped on the Chargers early on and never fucking stopped. The Jaguars defense looked fucking solid. They held the Chargers at home to 10 fucking points. And listen, as a Bills fan, if I'm not allowed to use injuries as an excuse, which I don't, neither can the fucking Chargers. If Justin Herbert was really hurt, he should have sat. But I digress. Rookie linebacker for the Jaguars, Devin Lloyd, he's living up to those expectations. That first round pick by the Jaguars. Jaguars moved to 2-1. Hang on. One more. The Jaguars are 2-1. And they are in first place in the AFC South. Let that sink in. I know it's early. I get it. But do you have faith that the Colts, Titans, or Texans can come and take that from them? Yikes. Number 13, Denver Broncos. So, when is Russell Wilson going to start cooking? Now, I know the Broncos won. They got a hard-fought win, okay. But where's this high-powered offense that everybody was talking about all offseason? The Broncos took on the Niners on Sunday Night Football and did nothing but punt the fucking ball 10 times. At 2 points in this game, they started the drive at midfield on the 50-yard line. And they gained a total of 0 yards on both drives combined. They had 9 3-and-out. And yet they're 2-1 and share a lead in the AFC West. Number 12, Dallas Cowboys. So Cooper Rush, he's 2-0 filling in for Dak. That's impressive. All those memes a few weeks back after Dak got hurt about the season being over for the Cowboys, they didn't age too well. The Cowboys are 2-1. And they look good. And they look good because their defense is playing outstanding. Did you watch that game last night? What they did to the Giants? Daniel Jones was running for his fucking life all game long. What sucked was watching this game, I had just jokes just churning in my head that I was going to make in these videos about that drop that CeeDee Lamb had because that was bad. But then this motherfucker went and made that amazing touchdown grab and I have to shut up. Sitting there just eating my words. The Cowboys are looking good. And it's making me wonder if that week 1 loss where they didn't score a touchdown against the Bucs was simply just a product of the Bucs defense being really fucking good. Number 11, Minnesota Vikings. For the second week in a row, Kirk Cousins struggled throwing the deep ball. How are you going to have so many check down passes when you have a receiver named Justin Jefferson and Adam Thielen on the other side? I mean, not for nothing, but you played against the Lions. They don't exactly have the greatest secondary in football. The Vikings escaped the game on Sunday against the Lions with a win. I still don't even know how it happened because they were outplayed by the Lions. I remember week 1, they came out looking super duper. But in the last 2 weeks, like superstar Justin Jefferson has had 4 catches. They don't look super duper anymore. Number 10, Los Angeles Chargers. Keenan Allen out. J.C. Jackson out. Joey Bosa out. Justin Herbert nursing some bad ribs. I get it. Injuries crush this team on Sunday. But this is the perfect example of why depth is so important in the NFL. All teams deal with injuries. All of them. It's how you perform through those injuries that makes you a contender or not. And quite honestly, I don't think the Chargers are as good as advertised. They're supposed to unseat the Chiefs in the AFC West. I get it. The season's young. Anything can happen. But they don't look like that team yet. Number 9, San Francisco 49ers. Yo, how funny is it that it was actually a good thing that Jimmy G stepped out of the back of the end zone for a safety? Because had he not, that was a pick 6. Sunday Night Football, the Niners went into Denver. And Jimmy G reminded the NFL world, maybe this is why the Niners decided to go with Trey Lance. He didn't look so good. The Niners defense, however, god damn did they look good. They forced Russell Wilson and the Broncos offense to punt the ball 10 times. But until the Niners figure it out on offense, this defense is going to be heavily relied on. Number 8, Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Minus Mike Evans, Chris Godwin, Julio Jones, Tom Brady lined up with, hold on, I need to check my note. Brashard Perryman, Russell Gage, and Jalen Darden. I think Cole Beasley even played in this game. And guess what? They almost pulled out a win against the fucking Packers. It's just Tom Brady being Tom Brady. With 14 seconds left to go in the game, the Bucs scored a touchdown with a chance to tie the game with the 2-point conversion. But that lack of a go-to target really showed on that 2-point conversion. And that attempt failed. Womp, womp. Brady's going to need his receivers back because this game was hard to watch. Their offense is hard to watch. Something about the Bucs, they have fallen off. Number 7, Los Angeles Rams. Yeah, so the Rams offense didn't look so dominant In Arizona, Matthew Stafford did not throw a touchdown pass for the first time since being a Ram. Cooper Kupp, he only had 4 catches. They only gained 15 first downs the entire game. Luckily for them, they were facing a terrible Cardinals team. 20 points was all they needed. Number 6, Kansas City Chiefs. So on Sunday in Indianapolis, the Chiefs were missing their kicker. And it's rare to say that an NFL team lost the game because their kicker was out. But in this case, it's probably true. The lack of faith that Andy Reid has in his backup kicker really showed when he attempted a fake field goal, and it failed. The backup kicker also missed a 36-yarder and an extra point. Couple that with a muffed punt return by Sky Moore that led to a Colts touchdown, and you have yourself a Chiefs loss to a very bad Colts team. So sad. Too bad. Fuck the Chiefs. Number 5, Baltimore Ravens. Lamar Jackson just added 5 more tutties to his price tag. Shit's starting to get expensive for the Ravens. Now, his stat line wasn't fantastic, but after an almost collapse to the Patriots, for what would have been the second week in a row, Lamar Jackson marched his team right down the fucking field to put the game away, looking much like the MVP that he was in the past. He single-handedly put this game away like his name was Mariano fucking Rivera. And Ravens fans were probably ecstatic because the last thing they wanted to see was 2 back-to-back collapse comeback losses. Number 4, Green Bay Packers. Boy, the Packers looked good in the first half, didn't they? Against a tough Tampa defense, no less. But then Aaron Jones fumbled away the ball on the goal line and everything seemed to go to shit. The offense just did not look right from that point on. But thankfully for them, their defense stepped up and played real fucking well. It was an interesting end to this game when Tampa Bay lined up for a 2-point conversion to tie and missed, giving the Packers an escape win, and they're now 2-1. Number 3, Miami Dolphins. There were many factors that went into this Dolphins win over the Bills on Sunday. The absolute insane heat being one of the most important ones. But the Miami Dolphins deserve an insane amount of credit for this game. This was a massive early season statement game against probably the best team in football. Last week, I mentioned that if Tua makes the Bills secondary look bad, I would shut my mouth and stop talking shit about him. Now, I don't feel like he did that against a secondary that was literally made up of practice squad players. So I'm going to continue to talk shit about Tua and say that he's just not there yet. But what was the most impressive thing for me in a game that I literally watched every snap is that fucking Dolphins defense is legit. People need to stop talking about Tua. People need to stop talking about Tyreek Hill, and they need to start talking about this Dolphins defense. They got after Josh Allen on every single play. Josh Allen hasn't looked this bad since his rookie year. He looked awful. This was a huge win for the Dolphins. And as a Bills fan, I make no excuses like most other Bills fans are doing. If I was wearing a cap, I would tip it to the Dolphins right now. I look forward to seeing you once again in December in Orchard Park. Number 2, Buffalo Bills. Over 100 degrees in Miami on Sunday. Players were dropping like fucking flies. It was hot as shit. Offensive lineman Spencer Brown was ruled out of the game before halftime with heat illness. The fuck is heat illness? Look, I know you're watching this. You know I'm a Bills fan. You think that I'm making these rankings with bias in my heart. I'm not like other Bills fans. I am not making excuses. They lost this game. Were the Bills missing 8 starters? Yeah. Were the Bills beat down by the Heat? Yeah. Are these the reasons why they lost to the Dolphins? Fuck no. The Bills made a shit ton of mistakes. Did you see Josh Allen pull a Dak Prescott and throw the ball into the ground when he had Isaiah McKenzie open in the end zone? Did you see Matt Milano drop the pick 6 that hit him square in the fucking hands? The Bills might have outplayed the Dolphins statistically, but they didn't deserve this win. That being said, I'm super proud of this team. I've never seen injuries like I have in their secondary. And despite starting 2 practice squad players, they still have the opportunity to win this game. That just lets me know that they're still the best team in football. Number 1, Philadelphia Eagles. Now, watching the Bills game on the big TV, I had this game on my iPad off to the side. Every time I looked at the screen, Carson Wentz was getting fucking murdered by the Eagles defense. They sacked him 4 times in the opening quarter. And offensively, the Eagles looked just as good. This week, it was Devonta Smith putting up video game numbers. The Eagles scored 24 points in the second quarter. Didn't score anything in the second half. Now, a lot of Eagle haters are saying they don't know how to close out games. The fuck do you mean they closed out the game before halftime? The Eagles are soaring right now and look like the best team in the NFC. And I'm hard-pressed to find a team that's better.